Back at it again, and we have another video on one of our glorious campuses. You know, wonderful places of learning. Yeah, one of those. Let's dive in.
Occidental College in California is considering instituting a system for students to report so-called microaggressions perpetrated against them on campus. Microaggressions are statements that intentionally or unintentionally send a negative message related to someone's membership in a marginalized group. We visited campus to ask Occidental students if they agree that the following statements could be considered microaggressions. They've all been documented as such on a college campus somewhere in the United States. Have you heard of the term microaggression?
Yeah, that's a big thing on campus. If we see large-scale violence, we can name that as a macroaggression, but the way that we devalue that violence, the way that we silence that violence, that's a microaggression.
I'm asking an Asian American, where were you born?
Yes.
Very, very contextual, you know?
That's not a microaggression, that's just asking where they were born.
Telling a black student that he or she is very articulate.
That is, yeah. Yes.
What about saying all lives matter?
I think because the history behind Black Lives Matter, it's kind of like appropriating a statement that was created specifically to talk about Black lives being lost to police brutality, so that is.
I'm colorblind, I don't see race.
Possibly?
I believe the most
Yeah, see, and that's the problem with a lot of this stuff like this. There's no, first off, there's no clear line, right? Possibly. So we're just leaving it up to people's judgment, which I don't know if you guys have seen some of these videos of people being outraged. I can almost guarantee they're going to call just about anything that is or goes against what they believe or think a microaggression. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. So there's no clear line on it. And two, are you kidding me? Microaggression? It's not just aggression. It's just not. It's not just disrespect anymore. You got to get even smaller than that. Like if you twist your just even one word, hey, that's a microaggression, buddy. I don't know. Just some of this stuff is just absolutely ridiculous. Do y'all agree? Let me know. Let me know.
qualified person should get the job.
Wait, what did you say?
I believe the most qualified person should get the job.
Qualifications aren't really the only.
The fact that she even had to think about that just lets me know this is a joke. This is a joke. I believe the most qualified person should get a job. How is that being disrespectful in any way, shape, or form? Please tell me. I believe the best person who is best suited to have this occupation should get it. Where's the disrespect or microaggression in that? She paused and thought about it. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Qualified person should get the job.
Qualifications aren't really the only thing you should consider when hiring someone.
If you're saying that the most qualified person is someone who is not a minority or not of a religion you believe in, then yes, that'd be a microaggression.
Saying God bless you.
Wait, what?
Not a minority or not.
When hiring someone.
But if you're saying that the most qualified person is someone who is not a minority or not of a religion you believe in, then yes, that'd be a microaggression.
Where in most qualified does it say anything to do with race or religion? Most qualified. This stuff is seriously a joke. I just can't even take this stuff serious anymore. I mean, I already didn't take it serious, but I really don't even take this serious now. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Aggression.
Saying God bless you after somebody sneezes.
Oh, that would be a microaggression because of different religions.
Yeah, it could be a microaggression to someone who doesn't believe in God.
I think that the harm there is relatively minimal.
Okay. So there's still some harm though.
I would say there's not harm, but if it's being asked, clearly someone found.
Maybe mini microaggression.
Perhaps.
Do you see any downside to creating a database full of statements that faculty and students make to each other in terms of protecting free speech values on campus?
Not in terms of protecting free speech value, but the idea of a database certainly raises eyebrows.
So yes, we do need a system where we can report our experiences, and that like a system of education or whatever.
I would say it's good to have it in place, but to have like harsh actions against it, it wouldn't be beneficial to student life here.
It'll make a safer environment. So I fully support the council, and I think it's really great that the faculty is taking this initiative because it wasn't one of the demands. The faculty on their own said, like, we're going to do this because we believe it's what we should be doing.
They went above and beyond to police hate speech.
I think so in some respects.
Protests are erupting on college campuses across the country as students demand that administrators address racial grievances through mandatory sensitivity training courses, hiring of more diverse faculty members, and the resignation of insufficiently responsive college presidents.
Change comes from listening, learning, caring.
Video captured at Yale University show a student shouting down a professor trying to engage her in conversation about the role of faculty in regulating students' Halloween costumes.
It is not about creating an intellectual space. It is not.
This professor's wife, also a faculty member,
And of course, yelling and screaming while the other person is completely calm. Typical shenanigans.
later resigned from Yale, saying, this professor's wife, also a faculty member, later resigned from Yale, saying, the current climate at Yale is not, in my view, conducive to civil dialogue and open inquiry. Another clip out of the University of Missouri shows students and at least one professor pushing journalists out of their self-styled safe space.
You're pushing me! You need to get out! You need to get out!
No, I don't.
While these protesters are clearly exercising their First Amendment rights, images such as these have led more and more observers to wonder whether or not college students care about the free speech rights of others. What are your thoughts on the concept of free speech? Do you support free speech?
Yes, I do support free speech. And Oxy is an environment that also supports differing opinions.
Free speech allows you to have new input constantly, and I think that's like a really big part of the community here at Oxy.
Obama has actually encouraged this, saying that instead of college students being coddled, they should have these active discussions.
Wow. Why isn't that front page news everywhere? Obama says liberal college students should not be coddled. Seems like people aren't following Obama's advice these days. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of coddling going on when people start yelling and screaming. We checked out a video, for example, with Steven Crowder. There was, and it wasn't a student, but there was a situation where he did, I forgot the exact debate of what it was, but Steven Crowder was basically assaulted. He had something thrown at him, and he was interviewing another young lady next to him, and she just was like, "Oh no, it's fine. Well, you shouldn't have asked that person." He asked the individual. It was like a trans person. I forgot exactly what was asked, but she was like, "Oh, well, you shouldn't have asked that question. So you kind of deserve it." Basically, in short, coddling the bad behavior. It was just absolutely disgusting and ridiculous.
He encouraged this, saying that instead of college students being coddled, they should have these active discussions so that they can learn something new and change their viewpoints a little bit.
Too much censorship would give a lot of power to few individuals, and I believe in a more even distribution of power.
I think that everyone should be able to say what they believe and what's on their mind.
Most of the students we spoke with seemed to defend free speech in principle, if not always in practice. But one organizer of the previous week's protests viewed even the concept of free speech with deep suspicion.
Those using the rhetoric of free speech are individuals who already are in positions of power, who are creating history, who are creating these dominant narratives. Free speech conceptually is about this idea of equality, that everyone can have the right to say something, but that's not the way our society works. That's not the way those college campuses work. We only hear the same reiteration of particular voices over and over again, and that's white students' voices. That's President Veach's voice.
A recent Pew poll found that 95% of Americans believe citizens should have the right to criticize government policies publicly. But the numbers weaken when you start talking about offensive speech. 40% of millennials polled believe that the government should be able to prevent people from making statements that are offensive to minority groups, for instance.
If it's a racist remark or something that tries to stir up the public, I think that should be stopped.
I think if the speech involves a threat or involves violence of any type, then that should not be allowed. But other than that, I don't think there should be a regulation on that.
Personally,
How is speech violent? That's my question. do words like punch you in the face or something? I'm just curious because this isn't the first time that we've heard something like that. Speech is violent. I never got punched in the face by any words or, tripped by a word or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm wrong. Y'all let me know in the comment section though. But that one doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
I think that if you ever say someone, I hate you because you're so-and-so, that's that should not be allowed. In a way, it's free speech, but in a way, again, it's a hate crime. If you're saying you're a lesser person because you're Muslim, Jewish, Christian, Catholic, any of the above, that's not okay, and that's a hate crime.
That's the other thing about free speech. When I say that it's about power and privilege, it only enables things like hate speech, because it makes it seem that everything that we say has equal weight, when that's not true.
Don't want to single out Donald Trump, but his approach to this political campaign, saying we should monitor mosques, we should build this wall and keep out all the Mexicans because they bring their gangs, they bring all their crime. That kind of speech is really hurtful to those people for no reason, just because he wants to get his views across. And
so really Donald Trump shouldn't be allowed to.
Actually, I believe I want to say I saw a poll that said especially amongst the legal immigrants that have come into this country, they support securing our borders. So what he just said there, I think is false. If I remember correctly. Correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong, but I want to say we checked out a video about it, or maybe I watched it on my own. I don't remember. I come across so many videos. I don't know what I checked out and made a video on it and what I just checked out in my own time. But let me know in the comment section. But I believe I came across a statistic that said amongst legal immigrants, not illegal, but amongst legal immigrants, they support securing our borders.
Say those things.
Personally, I wouldn't say so, just because,
say those things.
He wants to get his views across. And
so really Donald Trump shouldn't be allowed to say those things.
Personally, I wouldn't say so, just because, like a lot of other people, I don't really think that he has the capabilities of being a president.
What kind of repercussions would you like to see for hate speech violations?
I haven't really thought about that, to be honest. I think that in no way should we send someone to prison for that, but I think that there should be protection of people who are being attacked.
What we say in terms of hate speech has incredible weight, right? Because it's intimately linked to violence against people of color. It's intimately linked to the prison industrial complex.
Do you think free speech is valued on this campus?
Yeah, I think it is.
You feel that free speech is alive and well on the campus of Occidental?
Yes.
The only thing that I do know now is that we're in a position where you can't ignore what's going on this campus. And that's kind of the bottom line. So students have been turning a blind eye for a while now. Whether or not they're using a justification of free speech, that's on them.
If I were to sneeze and you said, "God bless you" to me, could that be a microaggression?
I want to say no, but at the same time, I guess it would count.
Oh, man. Yeah. Some more craziness going on at our college campuses. What a shame. What a shame. Speech is violence. I support free speech, but I don't support free speech because I don't want people to be allowed to say what they want. My goodness. And once again, it goes back to sending these individuals to places like Cuba, China, Venezuela, and some of these other places, and telling them, hey, if you disagree with their government, speak out against it. I mean, do it at your own risk. I mean, be aware. You may not make it back to the U.S. I mean, we'll bring you back, but you may not make it back. But go ahead. Give it a shot. See how terrible America actually is. Oh, man. So many people here in America just live in this bubble of privilege and do they really realize it, or do they just not care? I don't think they actually realize it, how privileged they actually are. I think that's the problem in this whole equation. Maybe that's the root of it. As Americans, once again, we live in our own little bubble, so we feel so privileged. We don't see what's going on out in the world and how other people are actually living and the circumstances they're actually put through, what they can actually say and what they can't say. And I like I said, I think that's one of the roots of a lot of these issues. We're very, very privileged, and a lot of us here that live in America don't even realize it. Maybe it's time we open their eyes and we push for, a bill that allows these students to go visit these countries. Not in the nice areas, just amongst the regular folks, not amongst the elitist, just amongst the irregular folks. The everyday Joe Schmo. Get a job and work just like everybody else. But yeah, maybe one day. Maybe one day we'll make that happen. I think it's possible. I definitely think it's possible. I think it's more than possible. We just have to push for it. And I think once it does happen, we'll see a whole lot of change going on, especially on these college campuses. Because once these students come back from, a summer over in Venezuela, a summer over in Cuba or somewhere else where they've worked and lived amongst the regular Joe Schmo that live over there, they come back to those college campuses and they'd be horrified by what they were put through and what they saw. But hey, that's just my opinion. Y'all let me know what you thought about all of this in the comment section below. Shout out Reason TV. I'll leave the original link in the description box below if you guys want to go check it out for yourself. Also, if you would like to support my channel more than you already have, my PayPal link is in the description box below. Peace and love. I'm out.